Yo, 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 yo. What is up, everybody? What's going on? What's up, YouTube? How are you doing? It is the Daily Hi-Fi Podcast with myself, Chana, the Techno Dad. We got Mike down there. We got Joe to my left. And we got Ron, Caddy Corner, down there. What's up, guys? How you guys doing?
What's
doing
up?
Good, man. Doing good.
Crazy day, huh? Crazy week.
Yeah.
Been a wild one. That's for sure. Crazy. Definitely for sure.
Woo.
Yeah. Even today, my son, he's getting married in 2 weeks, so he's kind of like, well, "What are we doing now?" Because his cruise got canceled. And then he was going to go out and see California. They were like, "Oh, let's go out there." And then it's like, "Okay, wait a minute, that may not work either." So who knows, man? Yeah. And they may even shut down the wedding. So we will see.
I saw that post, man.
Man, that is still bright, huh?
Yeah. Actually, what's funny is so Mammoth Mountain Ski Resort closed down on Sunday, and I have a wedding to DJ next Sunday. So that's not happening here, but they did say that they're going to have the wedding in Santa Barbara, so I might just cruise down there and play the wedding. I don't know. They've already paid me, so I might as well just work.
Got paid already, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, you were there, Joe. It happened at CES.
Oh, yeah. You're taking all those calls. Closing deals.
See if that's better.
Yep. ABC. Right. Always be closing.
Let me just post this real quick. Let's see here.
Oh, I got to pop out this chat. Woo. So, Ron, how are the babies?
So they're doing great. Fantastic. A little bit early, but we actually have them trying food already, and they're doing great, man. Just killing it.
Awesome. They're killing the game, huh? They're killing that baby game.
They are.
Love it.
Yeah.
I wonder how many people are going to be home today.
Yeah, we're about to find out.
Yeah, are you guys in the chat? We got 28 in watching right now. Let us know if you're at home. Let us know if you're still at work. Let us know. Let us know in the chat.
URL, I'm just posting on my community page here so people can join. Boom.
Yep. Okay.
Join us. That's it.
Jim Dowell says he's at home.
Who's at home that would normally be at work right now? That's what I want to know.
Yeah.
Because if I see Rob E up in here, well, I'm like,
he's always here.
Regular guy audio is getting gas. Thanks to Corona, gas is $1.65 a gallon.
Wow. Wow.
There it is.
Did you guys get that notice that says like anything that if you have Corona in the title, coronavirus, something like that, that it's not monetized?
Correct. Yeah.
Really?
They didn't want to give up that much money. YouTube was smart about that, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Either that or they didn't want people to
Brian,
take advantage. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, it's one of those things. So speaking of, I heard somebody say Brian. Brian Tong, buddy of mine, he put up a video about COVID, and I was like, I shot him a text. I was like, yo, I just saw your video alert. Is it true? Is it monetized or not? And he's like, no, it's not. So
yeah,
there it goes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Pope is in the house. What's going on, man?
What's up, Pope?
Yeah. Julio.
So you guys saw Mr. Ron. Have you recovered from your one chip challenge, man?
Oh my goodness.
I think so. I hope so. Yeah, that was an adventure for sure.
So what was the experience like, Ron?
You know, I pride myself on loving. I can't stress this enough. Loving Mexican food. I love spicy food. I eat lots and lots of spicy food. No problem at all. We make lots of different salsas here, and been an Arizona boy my entire life. Never had any issues with spice. Now, that little chip that came straight from Satan
it lifts you up, man.
Is a little bit different. That's a little bit. And what's funny about it is if you notice in the video, as I start crunching, you can almost see what I'm thinking. Like, oh, I got this.
Yeah, I saw you got.
It's not too bad.
It's good.
Oh, you're like,
you see these? we ain't got nothing on these. And then I started crying. And so
was it quick? Was it quick?
You know what it was? It was as soon as you start building up that saliva, and then you have enough saliva in your mouth to do something about it, and I decided to swallow it.
Yeah.
Game over. That's where it was like, oh, that was a big big mistake.
have no desire, man. You know, when you watch people like Shaquille O'Neal and different guys that do that, and they're like, no, man, this pretty much sucks.
Yeah.
I have no desire, man. But that's awesome, man. My hat's off to you, sir.
Thank you. It was a lot of fun. Would never do it again, but would love to see you guys do it. So you've all been challenged.
Never.
Yeah, well, look, Brian says that we need to all do it now too.
That's what I mentioned earlier. Yeah, I'm like,
that's what you're saying, Brian. Okay,
yeah, that Brian.
Oh man,
I've done something similar with like a little. It was like a little green pepper that my friends had growing. I don't know what it was, but $5 when I was like young.
Nice.
And it was a stupid decision.
Yeah.
That was just too crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got some guys in here from Australia. Grant, what's up, man? And then we got Bad to the Bone. He's up 10,000 feet in the air.
Oh, you watching from an airplane?
Yeah, man. Isn't that cool?
That's pretty awesome, actually. Oh, here we go.
It's amazing what technology has done, man.
That's for sure.
Boom. Copy. So I'm just posting this on our Instagram for Daily Hi-Fi. So if you're not following us on Instagram, it's at Daily Hi-Fi. I think right now we're at 18.1 or 18.2K.
Nice.
So we're constantly posting on there. If you're not following, you know what to do. Hop over there.
That's right.
You're missing out.
Oh man, there's so many comments rolling through. It's gonna be hard to keep up. Yeah.
Paste.
I'll try to keep up with them.
All right. So I'm just posting on our Instagram here. Live podcast.
So I saw a question up here for Ron.
Yeah.
At SVS Ultra or the Bucart?
Yeah, so that's a good question. I will say this: the Ultras might be next, if not next, then like within the next couple of weeks. So I don't want to say too much about them. I'll say this: for $1,000, they're a fantastic speaker. They're a bit more lively on top than the Bucart S400s for sure. So if you're fine with that, then there's nothing wrong with those speakers. I really, at $1,000, I really like those speakers a lot. It's hard to find a whole lot of flaws in those.
Now, when you say lively, what do you mean by lively?
Well,
lively up top.
Yeah, both subjective and objectively. So in measurements, as well as what I hear, you have a higher rise in the treble region than you do with the Bucarts, and so there is an emphasis up high with the SVSs, and so you're gonna have more of a treble response. So if you love the sound of cymbals and crashes and drums and percussion, and that's something that you have no problem dealing with when it comes to listening fatigue, then the Ultras are fantastic. There's nothing wrong with them. And I want to be clear, I'm not saying they're a bright speaker. I wouldn't go that far. I'm just saying they're just a little bit tilted on top.
Okay. They're an aluminum dome tweeter.
They are an aluminum dome tweeter. Yeah. Oh, you calm yourself down, Joey.
Great question. Thanks, Paul. I hope that did it for you there, buddy.
I think, Ron, last time we talked, we said that we should definitely address what's going on right now, right? So
yeah, we should, and I don't even mind just leading into that. I mean, look, the reality is that we're not going to ignore COVID-19 and the coronavirus. It would be a disservice to you guys, and I think it'd be disrespectful to do that. So our hearts actually go out to anybody out there that is dealing with a loved one that might be suffering from that, or dealing with that. We want to be able to engage in conversation. That is on the table. If you guys want to reach out to us and talk about that, we have no problem at all tackling that. Joey, I know that it's near and dear to you.
Yeah. Well, we're all friends here. You know what I mean? I consider you guys my friends, and everybody who follows us, you guys are like our extended family, right? And so if there's something that you guys want to ask, talk about, whatever, then we definitely can. Somebody here is asking about Gene at Audioholic. Yeah, we'll definitely get into that. But for me, it got real because actually my uncle visited my family in Minnesota, and so he flew in from the Philippines, and he had to stop over Korea, which is kind of not a great place to be right now, right? And then he also had to stop over in Washington, so Seattle's not a great place to be either. And anyway, he went to visit my grandmother. I told you guys that my grandfather had recently passed away, not, maybe a month ago, something like that. And yeah, so first things first, my grandmother had 8 kids, okay? So 7 girls and 1 boy. So that's my uncle. He came to visit just to see what's up, you know what I mean? Just to console her, things like that. Anyway, um turned up after a few days, he had a fever, right? Hard time breathing, all the typical symptoms. Got tested, COVID-19, right? And the thing is that he was staying over at my grandmother's house, and she's 88 years old, right? And so we're just like, hoping, and yeah, this morning I got a text saying that my grandmother had to go to the ER because she had trouble breathing. Now it's crazy because I talked to her last night, and I asked her how she was doing. Normally she wants to talk, but she didn't really seem like she wanted to talk. She's like, "Yeah, I'm doing okay. I'm just a little achy from, moving some stuff, from arthritis or whatever." But, you know, I think she's just not wanting to say what was really going on, which is she didn't feel very good. So my aunt, who's looking over, was, she said that she hadn't been eating, stuff like that. But funny thing, I'm just a quick funny note, is my grandmother, before she had to go to the ER, she did her hair, right? So that kind of made me feel a little bit better when she told me that she made sure to do her hair before going to the ER, because that's important, right?
That's adorable.
Yes. But yeah, it's crazy over there, right? It's crazy. Like I said, my grandmother had 8 kids, and one of them's in the Philippines, two are here, and then the rest are over there in Minnesota. So my aunt and uncle, they're both cardiologists. They're looking over my uncle. They asked my aunt, imagine they're doctors. They know how to deal with the situation, keep yourself clean, all that. My mom asked my aunt, like, what's the likelihood that you got infected? And she was like, 98%, something like that. Yeah, so it's real, right? It's real. And the first thing I did, so anyway, my grandmother, my uncle, they're both in the ER right now. It's different hospitals. Because my aunt and uncle and my aunts, because they were taking care of them, because they have the likelihood of being infected, they're not allowed to leave the house. So somebody has to go and get them from the house. They can't drive them. They're not allowed to leave the house.
Right.
So that's the crazy part. My grandmother had to go into the ER by herself. She couldn't have anybody there with her. Right. So that wasn't very cool. But, you have to understand what they're trying to do and what they're dealing with. I guess that's basically it. The first thing I did when I heard, I called some family members, and then I posted on my Facebook page. And then the other thing that I did was I called up one of my friends who's just kind of like those people who never believe anything.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I'm like, so, hey, what do you think about this virus stuff? Just kind of like playing it cool. I've known this guy since like 3rd grade, right? Oh yeah, that's BS. You know what I mean? It's just this and this, this and this. I'm like, hold up a second. Let me just tell you something real quick. I have like a bunch of family members in Minnesota, right? They're not in Asia, right? In Minnesota, who are infected. So what are you talking about? So anyway, point being, take it seriously, and yeah, that's basically it.
Wow. That's crazy, man.
Definitely hate to hear that, Joe. I know we talked about that earlier offline, and a lot of people being affected, man.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then the first one that I heard that really woke me up was when you posted, John, at like 1 a.m. You're
What did
like
I post?
about Gene.
Oh, Gene.
Say, what
Oh,
happened?
yeah. I saw that randomly. Actually, it was Shane, Spare Change. He was like, "Did you hear about Gene? He got corona." I was like, "What?" And then I was like, "How did you know?" And then he showed me the post, so I went to it, and then I showed it to you guys. I was just like, "This is crazy." So, yeah, I know we all talked to Gene. I talked to him for a little bit that day or the next day. Here we go. So I think he's doing better. Didn't you talk to him, Joey?
Yeah, I've been checking up with him on a daily basis almost. Just seeing how he's feeling and all that. And one of the nights I said, are you up, to talk? Because imagine you're there at
He's in
home
isolation,
Doing
man.
nothing.
Yep.
Doing nothing.
doing not too much. And so I'm like, let's just talk. Let's talk. I'm gonna call you up. Let's just talk. So I figure I'd just try to keep him entertained at least a little bit, talk a little business, not too hard, but just talk. And I think that's an opportunity for us because everybody's at home to just call somebody up. They're gonna be at home. They're not at work. I'll tell you right now. Call them up.
That's right.
So it's kind of the nice thing about it. I was able to talk to him, and I try to make him laugh. He's like, "Don't make me laugh. Hurts my chest." So I think he's getting better now. And I told him that once he gets better, I said if he gets better. So if he gets better, I'm sending him a new mic.
There you go.
I was just clowning him on his mic for a good while.
Yeah.
I told him, why you wearing that thing? Why
Oh, the little fuzzy cat, the dead cat.
That's the thing you got to know about me. I don't say anything without being willing to say to that person. So anything that you think I'm saying behind your back, I will say it to you too. But yeah, I was telling Gene, hey man, I'm gonna send you a mic, but you have to be alive. So
there you go. I like
he's
that.
getting better.
That's some incentive, man. It's good incentive.
Yeah. Look at this comment here. Quite a few of YouTubers I watch have gotten coronavirus. Well, maybe because they're traveling and stuff. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's tough though, because I think that right now a lot of people would be getting sick. So the tough thing is, how do you know which one's which? They have these charts that say, yeah, if you have this symptom, then it's not. If you have these, then it is. Yeah, it's kind of tough because they're so similar, right?
Yeah.
So right now I'm a little stuffy, right? So first thing I do, I'm like, oh, okay, what's going on here? Sneezing, low percentage that's one of the symptoms, right?
Yeah.
Check my temperature, no fever. Okay, cool. Right? So I think the symptoms that you want to look out for from what I've seen are fever. You guys correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah,
Fever, dry cough.
Dry cough, yep.
Like body aches and being like lethargic.
Yep.
Yeah. Correct.
Anything else I'm missing?
I think those are the main ones.
Throat was in there.
And then
and
if you've had any contact with anybody that's been traveling, if
Yeah.
I was worried about my karaoke night last Tuesday because I got microphones that everybody's touching and they're probably drunk and blah, 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 all over the microphone. you know what I mean? It's one of those things where it's just like, I don't even want to touch the thing normally when I get it back from people. And sometimes I get it back, that shit's all sweaty. I'm like, where did you go? Like, you were there right there. What's happening? So I actually got some Microban 24 to spray the crap out of the microphones, but they went ahead and canceled it. I think they're shutting down all the bars here in Mammoth, as most people here would still want to party, and if they had it, they would still send it off to somebody else because they're drunk, and that's what happens, right?
I think the right thing to do, because I've been putting a lot of thought into it, is just assume you have it, right? So if you're going to go out, a lot of people are trying not to get it, right?
Yeah.
But think about it this way also, is pretend that you have it, right? what are you gonna do to make sure that you don't get other people sick?
Yeah.
Stay
Right?
at home. Stay
Because
at home.
both ways, it
Mhm.
works both ways, right?
True.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah, crazy.
it's a little bit of a downer, but I figured that we'd have to talk about it. You know what I mean? I know there are people that are sick. You know, people are on my Facebook like, I'm sick, but I'm not worried.
Yeah. Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not an expert, so I don't want to continue on that path to pretend that I know anything.
Right.
I would say, you know, CDC, right? That's who you want to look to.
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
All right. So let's get into our questions then.
let's
Get
go.
into our questions. Here's Joey. Joey, let's get Joey's question out here.
There
What
you
is
go.
your ideal speaker sound signature, Joey? Why don't you head
Me?
us up? Yeah. What's your
Well,
question?
Oh man.
Are you
Why
asking
don't
the people?
Why don't I answer last, because I'm curious to see what you guys say, and then I haven't thought of it. I don't know what the answer is.
He just comes up with the questions.
He's like, I'm gonna stump these guys. All right. I guess who's gonna go first?
You are.
Okay. All right. So I'll go first. I don't know. This short answer.
It's hilarious. A bunch of audio files, and we have no idea.
I know what I like.
I mean, I like bass, but I do like. I'd say I like more of a neutral to laid back kind of sound signature as opposed to something that's more upfront or in your face.
Okay.
With regards to the top end or mid range?
Yeah, for mids and highs. You know, I mean, there's a lot, you know, all that stuff Joey was talking about. You know, that's good for some. I mean, it all depends on what I'm listening to, because you know, it all depends on the music. But if I'm going on a general kind of thing, I want to have the extreme highs turned down a little bit and the bass boosted a little bit, and the mid range could be scooped. It depends on what I'm listening to. So I would say something like neutral or laid back for me.
Ooh. Okay. I feel like Michael's. I'm just gonna guess. Michael's is like, you know, flat from 0 hertz to 20, and then whatever happens after that, who cares?
That's a huge spike.
No.
That's all he needs. 20
His
hertz and
sound
below.
signature it's just called bass. That's it.
No.
You guys are going about this the wrong way. It's whatever speaker he bought for $2 is.
I love it.
Yeah.
Sounds fantastic.
Give me a hard time. Give me a hard time. So I, unlike Chana, kind of like a more forward sounding speaker. I like something that is very detailed, just great clarity. But I definitely don't like a speaker that's bright or harsh. That's something that I don't like. I like something that's got a good solid bottom end. You know, when I've got a speaker that's, you know, a little 5-inch, little 4-inch, honestly, that just doesn't do much for me. You know, I want something that's gonna
4
just have a
inches
good.
not enough.
Oh man,
Got him laughing. Got him
wow.
laughing.
Got him.
My face is gonna be the color of my wall back here. Mercy, you ain't right, man, on so many levels. You know, here's another thing that, and I've never been able to describe what this is, but I've always used the word presence. There's some speakers that have presence and some speakers that don't. And again, that may not be the right way to describe it. But what I mean by that is it's almost like surround sound. So when you're listening to a pair of speakers, ones that I really love are ones that I'm not listening at the speaker. You know, like the sound just doesn't sound like it's emanating straight from the speaker, but it envelops me. And I really, and in a 2-channel setup, I really love that. And I found several speakers that, and you know, maybe that's part of just getting you know, the imaging right and tone in and distance and all that. I don't know. All I know is when I hear it, I love it. But when I'm listening to speakers that just are very directional, like I'm just listening at 2 speakers hitting me, I don't really care for that as much. But I like something that's kind of lively too, something that represents kind of what you would expect to hear at a live concert. So that's definitely not that laid back kind of sound. I've owned some speakers in the past that had a more, that neutral, laid back kind of sound, and they're okay. Just not my preference. And the cool thing is we all hear differently and we all have different preferences. And the great thing is there is a speaker manufacturer or more than one speaker manufacturer out there that suits, all of our needs and desires. So I think it's pretty cool.
All right.
But that's me.
I feel like Ron's going to knock this out.
What you got, Ron?
Just anything. Whatever.
Yeah, how about these AirPods?
Whatever speakers are connected, I like them.
Those are good, right?
It's changed over the years. For me, if we're talking about like the fundamentals, the tone of the speaker for me, it has to be balanced. And so I am a purist in the sense of I want to hear what the signal sounded like before it hit the speaker. So I want that translation to be as close to what was coming into the speaker is what is coming out of the speaker. Now, that's just the fundamentals, and that's not necessarily what really gets me totally like in love with the speaker. It would be when a speaker stops being a speaker and somehow through transparency or staging, the speaker removes itself from the room and you're left with a performance.
Yeah.
That's where I'm like, okay, game on. So a lot of open baffle stuff that I've listened to, they have that going for them to where they can just sort of just disappear in the room. And I love that. A lot of dipole stuff does that as well. And so that's something that I really enjoy is when there is no speaker in the room.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So for me, I would say that I like extension and flatness, right? So I want it to extend out as far as possible down to 0 and as far as possible past 20 kilohertz, right? So, and then right in between, between those 2 points, I want it to be as flat as possible. And of course, perfectly flat is not possible. But, and also, going flat out to 0 is not possible, right? And so because you have to make those sacrifices because of the cone material, because of the, whatever, because it's the actual physical thing, what I would prefer is if you have to compromise, I would like to have balance, like Ron was saying, right? So I don't want anything that's like real peaky. I hate peaky type of speakers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where there's a bump somewhere, like, oh, there's a bump at 300 hertz. Like, I don't want to hear that. That just annoys me. You know what I mean? So, relatively flat, smooth. That's what I look for.
Yeah.
Sure. Wow. There we go.
Four different ears, 4 different ways of listening.
Yep.
4 preferences.
Mine is correct though.
Joey's is right.
And so I think it kind of, brings up a comment that I see a lot of times that guys will ask, well, what do you recommend that I buy? I mean, really? Like, how can I answer what Chana likes?
Yeah.
How can I answer what Joey's
like a lot of
ears
stuff.
like?
Yeah.
And it's easy for us to just go off and recommend something that our ears like. But the reality is we all hear differently.
Yeah.
Oh. It would be, I think we would be incorrect in saying that, oh yeah, we all hear the same and everybody should be able to hear this way or that way and like this and that. And it's just not the case. You have different preferences. And that's okay. I think that's cool.
Yeah.
And I have no problem, like all of you guys, I think you're right. For you're right.
Yeah.
And I think that's totally cool. And sometimes in the audiophile world, we kind of look down at other people because they like a brighter sound or they like a more laid back sound or they like a flat sound,
My wife is really funny. The ELAC debut reference that I like, gosh, she hates them. She hates them.
Really?
And she's like, I hate these speakers. Can you change these out? I was like, wow, like that much?
Is it a looks thing?
No,
or
no, no.
sound?
She likes the way they look. She can't hear any vocals. They're a
Really
little too laid back for her. Yeah.
interesting.
When we're watching TV and it's set to stereo, I still have the Martin Logan center channel in there, so I hit surround and the center channel's back. She's like, "Oh, that's so much better." So
Shit,
for
Michael.
TV stuff, she
Well,
doesn't really like it. But
maybe if
she,
you had a third one. Maybe if you had a third one, it would be different.
if I had the center channel, it'd be different. I definitely agree with that statement. But
How loud
it's-
are you listening to that? When typically,
normal TV volume is around 70 on the little volume thing.
is it pretty loud? Like if we were talking, could we talk over the TV, or is it louder than?
It's
Normal talking volume.
Usually when she complains about it's when she's in the kitchen cooking, so it has to be louder, right?
Okay.
So we got to turn it up a lot, because whatever she's doing in there. But yeah, a couple of times like we sat down to watch some. We're trying to get through Westworld, like catch up because the new season's coming out, and man, she's just like, "Can you change these speakers?"
Yeah.
And you've recalibrated it with Odyssey.
Yeah. Ran Odyssey. But yeah, it's
I
just
think
one of those things.
You have to change out the center for sure, because that's probably what it is. But
Well, no. I mean, I'm just running them stereo.
Just stereo.
Yeah, just stereo, just to see what it's about. And Chris Walker said he sent the center channel, so just waiting on that.
Lucky you.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
I was talking about that in my recent upcoming RP 600 review. I was about to say giveaway. RP 600M review. I talk about how it's kind of a brighter speaker, right?
Yeah.
But I noticed that speaker compared to, let's say, the UB5s, Ron, you know the UB5s very well, right?
Yeah.
The UB5s, if you listen at low volume, you don't hear those highs, right?
No.
Like they're just gone. But if you turn it up, you're like, all right, that's perfect, right?
Yeah.
So I think that has a lot to do with that equal loudness contour curve.
Yeah.
So when you're changing the volume on your TV, you're probably calibrating to somewhere in the mid range. Like you want to make sure that sounds about right. Now, if the top end starts to drop off, then you're not going to hear that if it's at lower volumes. That's why I asked. So that maybe that's what it is. It's more of a equal loudness contour curve thing. And Klipsch would be better for that type of deal.
For sure.
Anyway, so speaking of RP 600Ms.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there it was. Hold on. Boom. There's the giveaway, you guys. If you guys don't know, I'm giving away a pair of RP 600Ms domestically. There's the link down there. I should probably just drop it in the chat. 1 second. Here we go.
And while he's doing that, let's just say a big congrats to Chana, man. Killing it with the 65K. I mean, that's
65 years old, man.
No, Ron, that's 65,000 years old. So
I'm old. I've been here a long time.
65,000. I mean, and so Chana, it's taken you what? You said 4 years to hit that?
Almost. Yeah, I started the channel in August of 2016. So
that's awesome, man. You're a hard man, bro. You are a hard.
And speaking of that, if you haven't seen a little different side of Chana, check out his channel. He just posted a video today. He was chilling in his what'd you call that?
I heard you guys talking about that. I haven't seen it yet.
You gotta watch it.
Well, Ron, after that last video, you're like, hey, I like this living room thing. He's like, there's all kinds of nonsense happening. My dog was all trying to be in the video, and then he starts eating off to the side, and it's all crunching all super loud. I'm like, great, thanks. I'm not recording anything. And then my wife was all like, hey, can I cook some like food? Because I'm hungry. And I was like, okay. So like toward the end of the video, like middle way end of the video, you can hear like microwaves going on and off. And it's just all kinds of nonsense, man. I didn't talk about it. I just tried to ignore everything else. But yeah. Thank you guys so much.
I think it's interesting that, a lot of times, and I know all four of these are three guys, all four of us try to do our very best to produce the best quality that we possibly can, whether it be lighting, editing, music, composition, audio, all of that stuff. And so we really try. What is that? Oh, he's
That's the
watching it
video.
now.
You guys pulled it up. Yeah, that's the video.
Are you wearing a
That's right.
bathrobe?
Yes, that's a
Yes.
bathrobe. Yeah.
But the cool thing is that every once in a while, we just, we're like, you know what? I'm not going to worry about perfection. I'm not going to worry about, you know, there's other things going on in the house.
Right.
And sometimes we just hit record. And I know I recently did a video that was just really laid back. And it was just sharing kind of like my home theater isn't perfect, and a lot of times you guys look at us and you may think that, oh man, we've got it all together. I can assure you Chana D does not have it all together.
Yeah, no, it's all over the place, man.
I
Shit.
know. But sometimes we just like to kick back and go, you know what? I'm not worried about being polished today. And this is just who we are,
Yeah.
and I think it's been cool because we've seen you guys just relate to that, and we're just normal guys just like you are.
Yep.
Nothing special about us. We have just made a choice that we're going to do our best to make an impact in the hi-fi community in whatever way that we can, whether it's giving advice, whether it is helping somebody with a setup or troubleshooting, whether it's producing content that just brightens your day in the midst of all this craziness that's going on now in the world. I've had guys, say, man, just thank you, for doing what you do so that I can kind of get my mind off of it just for a little bit.
Yeah.
So, but go check out Chana's video, man.
Skittle
it's
Scott
pretty good.
says, I like how you were in your self-isolation robe. Is what I called it.
I couldn't
Right now
think
it'd
what
be-
you taught. It was awesome.
Right now would be a good time to get yourself a nice little system, listen to some music, watch some
It's-
movies.
It is.
Right?
Back,
It's a great
absolutely.
time. It's a great time. And for that, let's jump into Ron's question. Do you think Bluetooth headphones can be taken seriously by audiophiles?
Bluetooth headphones.
Interesting.
I'm wearing some right now for the first time in a podcast, just because I've got a long video I'm exporting, and I think
yeah.
man,
Yeah,
my
it's got AirPods, right? We all
Yeah, I
have
know.
AirPods. That's what Mike's using.
yeah, and they're honestly they're not that great. They're okay. I know I was on a flight recently visiting JTR up in Wisconsin, and I actually brought these with me and watching a movie and listening to music. I'm like, man, I miss even my cheap headphones at home, and not to say that every Bluetooth headphones are like that. I think that they can have a great sound to them. I think I still would prefer a hardwired, just me.
Well, these are the pros, though. Shauna, you got the
That's
pros,
good.
right?
That's
I got the
because
pros.
you're fancy.
They're upstairs. But I have my older ones here too. But honestly, you know what? It's the convenience factor. Like sometimes if I need to do something and I need to get on them, I want to listen to. Okay, let's rewind a second. I think the strides that they've taken with the Tidal MQA, master quality whatever's recordings, like authenticated by the artist, whatever. I think that's kind of changed the way I listen to music. Now I don't mind listening to music on my phone, and if I have the AirPods Pro around, I'll stick one in and I'll go about my business. And then if phone call comes in, I just answer it, and it's super convenient. It's a convenience factor, and I think the convenience of how I'm now consuming music, which is on the Blue Sound app, going through Tidal, and we're doing this whole home thing with that Node 2i, like all of it just kind of like works together. That's really cool. So
yeah, convenience is awesome. Sure.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering about sound quality though.
Oh, sound quality for sure.
I think there's a sacrifice there. That's what I meant by that.
Oh yeah. Just like in anything. But man,
I think there's a trade-off. You've got convenience,
yep,
and then you've got quality, and I've just yet to see a really good, convenient, quality Bluetooth headset that is like, oh my gosh, this is amazing, So, but absolutely convenience. If I could get these to stay in my ears, I don't know. weird shaped ears or something. But the very first day I was wearing them, I literally was washing my hands and I bent my head down and one of them dropped in the sink. I'm like, what the heck, man? What do I got to do? Put bubble gum in there to make them stick to my ears or what?
Yeah, the pros are a lot better in that respect, though.
They are.
Yeah,
they are.
So they're
one thing I noticed about the pros, like I always have to like press them in pretty good so to get them in there, and I always get this high pitched kind of thing happening in there.
Oh wow!
Whether there's music playing or not, like it's some weird thing. I was like, oh, it's like a drill coming through my ears. Disgusting. I hate it.
Never heard that.
Yeah.
So right now I'm actually using these PSB M4U8s.
Yeah.
Right. So these, I like the way that these sound. Right. I don't know if I'm going to review these or not. We're actually doing a giveaway. I don't know, Chana, I put it on the private chat there. But we're doing a giveaway for Daily Hi-Fi fans.
That's you guys. That's you guys.
That's you guys. Yeah. If you guys want to join, you can win these. So, that's me.
Look, it's Joe.
Oh my goodness! Look at that handsome devil right there, man. That is like serious model.
Tight cut. Woo!
So yeah, I'm wearing them right now.
The model cost them a pretty penny.
Comfy.
Two pennies.
They're very comfy. Very comfy. They sound good.
Joe can't even get through the pitch, man. He's like,
yeah. So anyway, they sound good. I like them. Can they be taken seriously? I mean, what else do I have to compare them to? I think that these sound a lot better than some of my wired headphones, right?
Yeah.
So I think it depends really on the amplifier in the headphones.
Yeah.
You know, I saw another one that's kind of like a making the rounds right now. It's the what is it? The THX, the Panda drop ones.
The Pandas, yeah.
I've heard those. I kind of reviewed those alongside with Brent Butterworth, and I got to hear them, and you can't tell the difference whether you plug them in or not. I mean, if there is a difference, it's so minor. Yeah. So Bluetooth, wired, there's no difference. So,
cool.
What do you think?
I don't know, and that's the truth. I'm not trying to back away from the question. I've done a lot with headphones over the years. Before, even like through a period of New Record Day, I did a review called the Headphone Extravaganza, and I did like 20 headphones, like all in one review. It almost killed me, but
wow.
I've done a lot with headphones, and I used to be really into headphones. And I keep thinking about something that you kind of touched on, Joe, which is when we're talking about like, I mean, when you say audiophile, it's kind of a loose term, but there are some like headphone audiophiles that take things to the extreme. I mean,
extreme,
like extreme. No, but seriously, like honestly, we're talking like headphone amplifiers that are thousands of dollars and decks that are, again, so all of this gear that is in front of the headphone, and then you have the headphone, and that's their rig, right? They call it a rig. And so
and then this.
Yeah, right. Exactly. What? Yeah, cables, right. Yeah. So all of that stuff. And kind of what Joey was saying, I was thinking like, I think a big part of whether or not those are ever going to close that gap for those types of audiophiles would be, what is the DAC like inside? What is the amplifier like inside? And I think that it would be foolish for us to kind of just dismiss it. I've been thinking about this. It's like, well, traditional audiophiles might think, oh, that's going to be like a cruddy DAC or a cruddy amplifier. But what do you think the manufacturer that designed those headphones is putting in the right amplifier to drive those headphones? I would think that they would think that through to the point where once that refines, once that gets better and better, maybe we'll have some totally kick-ass Bluetooth headphones that are legit audiophile headphones. I'm curious. I don't know.
Well, the thing also that maybe we didn't mention is when you start going the digital route, you can start applying DSP and making that frequency response whatever you want, right?
Sure, you can.
So whatever deficiency that driver has or whatever, you can kind of fix a lot of that.
Work around it.
Yeah, those ones that I mentioned are using the THX AAA amp that's very highly regarded.
Yeah.
So it's not a cheap amp in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's interesting. All right, next question. What do we got?
Well, so excuse me, to piggyback off of Ron's question, my question is kind of very, very similar. Do you prefer wired or wireless headphones? That's my question.
Do you have a choice, really? No, I'm just kidding. I guess do you plug it into your phone? Like, do you like dongles?
Gotta love them dongles.
Do you like to even say the word dongle?
Dongle. No,
I hate
I have first of all, Christina, thank you for the super chat. Thank you so much. Your question is, are you going to Vid Summit this year? Yes, I was planning on it. We'll see what happens in the next few months because everything's being kind of shut down. So
when is
maybe
Vid Summit this year? Is it October?
It's probably the same time, second or third week of October, something like that.
Yeah.
But
we're a long ways off from that.
Yep. So who knows? We maybe. As far as dongles are concerned, I have plenty of them. I run, wedding music in different locations. So sometimes I have an iPad. So I have like 4 dongles, 2 in my bag, 1 in the box, like my big cable box, and then 1 in my jacket pocket. Like literally, it's like in my jacket
Always
zip
gotta have
pocket.
'em ready.
Always, yeah. And for me, I prefer wired, and I think that's just like the DJ in me. Like, there's a ton of wireless stuff for DJs, and I'm like, no, thank you. Wireless though, when I'm not working, cool, very cool. Those new Klipsch HP3s that I just opened, those are pretty cool. Why cable's super short? It's super short. I don't know what that's about, but I guess that's what you were talking about, Ron. Is that people like to change out their cables, for something, I don't know, braided or fancy, possibly longer. Like, are those cables usually fairly long, like more than a meter?
Yeah, I mean, they do it for different reasons, and it's interesting that you're bringing this up because the truth is, bro, it seems to me like a lot of the headphone community, they're more open to the idea of changing out cables than the regular audiophile, stereo community is. Like, it's kind of common, to be frank with you. And it might be these cables just look killer. Honestly, that might be it. I don't know, because some of them do look really cool. They got like exotic wood plugs and things like that. But I will tell you that a lot of them are believing that certain cables may change the sound a little bit or move it in a direction that they want.
Yeah.
Look, I changed the cables on these $50 in-ear monitors, but because it's like more comfortable.
Yeah,
they don't get tangled. Like, it's a practical reason for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, to answer the question, you preferred wired or wireless? I need both. It needs to be both, right?
Yeah.
Because right now I wouldn't be able to use this with this Rodecaster. I need to be plugged in.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know. Can you? No, I don't think you can use this with Bluetooth.
Maybe I mean, it has a Bluetooth thing, but that's for like the calls.
You need
and
a
stuff,
dongle.
Right?
One of China's dongles.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you don't know when you need to whip out your dongle.
I've seen you in a bathrobe. No thanks, bro.
Hey, we all don't know if we're all not or actually are wearing pants right now. So
that's true. That's
true.
True.
Keep everybody guessing.
I did get up. I did get up one time earlier, so they know I'm wearing pants.
Yeah, I've been riding my bike lately. It's beautiful weather out, and so wireless for me when I'm riding my bike. So there's
absolutely
reasons there's purposes, things that I do where I'm like, I don't want a wire on me at all.
I think it comes down to application,
Sure. So what we're
just like you need different tools for different jobs. Same thing maybe with headphones.
So this is what we're saying to everybody. You need to buy more headphones. We need one for the gym. We need one for bike riding. We need, like Mike, one for wireless podcast. I need one for wired DJing. I need one for mixing. So I got I need 9 9 headphones. Okay.
You need one that's indestructible because you dropped it earlier. I mean,
Oh no. That's my DJ headphones. Those things are a tank, bro. I've dropped
you were
those.
saying you said you dropped the HP3s.
Oh well, that was just the silly case. Like they have this really nice looking
Like,
case,
hey,
and it's just a bit silly.
It's fancy, man.
Yeah.
Hey,
It's
Dominic, what do you use for DJing? Do you use the tried and true 7506s, or what do you use?
I use the Pioneer DJ. They're top of the line ones. They're like 350 or something like that.
Okay.
But they go down to like 5 hertz or something retarded.
Yeah.
But they're like their build quality it's nuts. Like I've literally dropped that maybe about 100 times last year.
Yeah.
And they're still like rock solid. Like nothing's wrong with them. You know,
Cool.
people have spilled beer and wine on them. Like, oh, can you play the song? And like I'm like, damn it.
Yeah.
No, I can't play your song now that you got my headphones wet. Thank you.
Not now.
Leave.
All right, so here's my setup to add to what you're talking about, Chana. AirPods Pro.
Yep.
For general, like listening to music, whatever, but mostly for calls. I use these for calls.
Yeah.
Right. If I if I want to listen to some music on some over ears, I'll use these. I have these Philips open back headphones if I want to have more spaciousness.
Hey, are those X2s?
What? No. These are the inexpensive, the SHP 9500s that everybody talks about. They're awesome. This is the second time I bought them. I bought them once and gave them to someone as a gift, and I ended up like regretting it and buying them again. And then I have my Sony WH-1000 XM3s just for noise canceling.
Airplane.
So for
airplane.
Right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Had a pair of the I think they were
in-ears.
Sennheiser 580s. Does that sound about right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They make a 580.
Oh,
I think they were the 580. I think they were open ear, so
Yeah.
you know the sound actually escapes through them. But my goodness, the most comfortable headphones in the world. Super lightweight. They didn't clamp down on your head. You could literally wear them for hours and hours and hours. But they were kind of frustrating to my wife when I'd be sitting down listening to music to them. She's like, I can hear those.
She could hear them.
Yeah. But they just, like you said, Joey, they had that so much just openness and spaciousness. Really, really great sounding speaker. So
headphone.
Ooh, looks like we got some stuff in the chat over here too, some questions and comments.
Yeah, let's go. Let's hit them up. Let's see what's going on in the chat.
I'll bring one back over. This is from Matt Bookmaster. It's not really a question, but he said, honestly, I think all of you guys are far better when you're speaking off the cuff, talking about, when we make our videos rather than scripted. It's night and day how much better you come across when you're just being yourself. There is a challenge and a balance. There have been times that I've tried to script out, especially when you're doing like a review, because with a review, there's just a lot of details. And sometimes when you're just trying to speak off the cuff, that's really difficult to get those statistics.
Yeah.
Or you'll forget something, or you'll say the wrong wattage, or you say the wrong driver size or whatever. And so those types of things, a lot of times I just have bullet points. It's hard for me to just do a script per se. But I appreciate that. That's good feedback. And then there was a question right below that.
Well, to add on before you move on, these are I have some notes from my RP600M review. So I have 2 pages. These are just bullet points. So these are not bullet points, but kind of like talking points, right? So I'm not going to read this. This wouldn't make any sense if I just straight read it.
Right.
But imagine it. These are points that I want to make sure to hit.
Correct.
So how am I going to remember 2 pages worth of points?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like there's certain aspects
to
to the speaker that I want to talk about, that I want to make sure. Because the worst for me is like you do the whole review and you're like, I totally didn't mention that one thing that I needed to mention.
Yep.
Absolutely.
You can't. What are you gonna do? Re-upload after like 5 days out? No.
Well,
but I think he's talking about even that when you're using bullet points, that's still kind of like it's just off the cuff. It's coming naturally. You're just sharing your thoughts and your own words instead of trying to perfect it on paper. So,
well, the truth is really, if I were to say all of these things without looking at these notes, it might be
short and sweet.
30 minutes. It might be 30 minutes of me talking here to try. Oh yeah, by the way, this and that. I want it to be 10 minutes or 15 minutes. So that's kind of why I'm trying to save you guys time.
Right. That's actually what I learned from Joe. Like think about the viewer and how valuable their time is. So I cut out, like, there's some times where I just rattle off, for a good 40 seconds.
I would never
something.
imagine that from you, Chana.
Yeah. And I just cut that out.
Because
like, you know what, this even today's video, there was a good like minute and a half in three different, like there was like 30 seconds in each section of this, and I'm like, how is this a 20-minute video? Like, screw this. So like, okay, we're gonna take this part out, we're gonna take that part out, let's take this part out. Like, okay, the meat and potatoes. I
think I know for me, a lot of times I just ask the question, does this add value to the video? If it's just fluff, if it's trying to, just like you said, me rambling, that really doesn't do much. But if it's providing value, if it's providing information, if it's providing insight to something, then that's a good thing to keep in there. But
or even just entertainment, right?
Yeah, true. That's
like
true.
The house blowing up.
The house blowing up. Yeah, that was a good one, Mike.
I love that one. That's my favorite.
Every once in a while, I try to do some weird stuff. Looks like Bastion Wingrawl asked, Mike, say some words about the mini DSP. Are you into it? I am super new to mini DSP. Truth be told, I've had it for about a year, and really was just almost intimidated by it, in the sense that looking online, there wasn't a lot of good step-by-step, here's the nuts and bolts of it. Let's start here. Let's end here. There's bits and pieces out there. So I tried it a little bit, and I'm like, I'm not super into it. But then I'm like, you know what? It's been a year. Let's dive into this thing. Let's at least try. I spent about 3 days, literally 3 days, consecutive days. I didn't do any videoing. I was just in here I'm like, I want to learn what I can. And I'll be honest, man, it's deep. There's a lot to it. I see the value in it tremendously. I'm not real sure how it works integrating that with like your loudspeakers. My primary use was to be able to EQ, to be able to kind of flatten, like Joe was talking about earlier, that frequency response for your subwoofers, and especially when you're integrating 2 subwoofers. And so the mini DSP allows you to do something that I'm learning about called time alignment. And that's basically where let's just say, for instance, you've got a subwoofer that's in the front of your room, and you've got another subwoofer in the back of your room. Just with your ears, you're not going to be able to time align those. And time alignment is when that sound, those bass waves, hit your listening position basically at the same time. At least that's what I understand it to be. What I did not realize, and this still boggles my mind, is that I've always thought that as long as they were on the same plane, in other words, if you had 2 subwoofers in the front or 2 on the side, and they're basically the same distance from you, they should be pretty much time aligned. You shouldn't have to adjust the delay on your subwoofer and so forth. But I'm finding that, you can actually get better results through mini DSP by adjusting the delay on one of them, and you'll see better result. It was weirdest thing to me. So again, I'm not into it. I don't know a lot about it, but I'm willing to learn. But I definitely see the value, especially for you guys that are running 2 subs, 3 subs, 4 subs. There's no physical way. You're absolutely guessing if you're just throwing those where you think they should be. There's no way physically possible that and the sub crawl, throw it out the window. How are you going to do a sub crawl with 4 subwoofers? Doesn't work. You know what I mean?
How about Michael? You showed a picture of your before and after.
Yeah.
In a huge, like, how many decibels did you gain?
Yeah. It was 30 decibels. It was the weirdest thing in the world. And I'm like,
that is
now. Yeah, I don't understand that.
So 30 decibels more you got out of your system.
It was weird. One subwoofer, it was basically, let's just say here. Let me see if I can see. Yeah.
Okay.
So let's say one subwoofer was like here. When I did the other subwoofer, it was probably like here. When I combined both of them, instead of being here, it was like way the heck down here. And I went, whoa. And that's acoustics in my room. It's not the subwoofer. It's how those two subwoofers, the bass energy that it's producing,
Bass mode,
and the waves. Yeah. And that the room modes and all that. Again, that's kind of way above my head, but I'm learning about them. And by time aligning them to where those bass frequencies aren't competing against each other and canceling each other out, they're now working in conjunction with each other.
Yeah.
And you're getting a solid bass.
Yeah,
oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
When they're in phase. And so I just didn't know that could happen with two being behind my screen. How could they, I would assume, oh, they're in phase. But, when you just throw two subwoofers or one subwoofer or three subwoofers in your room. Okay, so let me go here for a second. So here's what I find. Sometimes people will say, man, I'm not getting the bass response that I want in my room, so I must need another subwoofer. The reality is you may not need another subwoofer. What you may need is to calibrate the two subwoofers that you have so that they're working in conjunction with each other, and you're getting the best, most optimal sound just from those two. And so I don't know about you, but $100 mini DSP is a whole lot cheaper than adding a third subwoofer.
Yeah.
So my recommendation would be at least give it a shot. And I say $100. That the mini DSP that I'm using is the mini DSP HD, and it's always tempting to kind of get the cheap one. And what I found with the HD, the biggest difference there's two kind of main things. And I learned this from Home Theater Guru. If you haven't checked out his channel, Steven's just been an incredible help to me. He's answered a lot of my questions. So definitely go check out Home Theater Guru. He's got a great channel. The dude knows his stuff. And he's a teacher. He's got a heart of a teacher.
I like that guy's channel.
He's incredible. I mean, dude, like I said, he's very gifted in that area. And he's his channel is just extremely practical. How do you set up subwoofers? How do you do this? How do you do this? But anyway, so I'm watching his video and I'm talking to him, and I found out that the mini DSP HD has higher resolution, but the bigger thing is it gives you more delay. So the standard mini DSP only has 7 milliseconds of delay. So if your subwoofers need up to 7 milliseconds to time align them, you're good to go. You don't need a mini DSP HD. I needed 12 milliseconds. I started off with like 4 and then went to 5 and 6. I went up to about 20, and 12 milliseconds was the absolute best that I got out of that.
Did you hear a difference? Was it like when you the sound difference?
Yeah,
it was like, oh my,
absolutely. Yeah, it was like, what the heck? Where did that even come from?
I see.
Because again, now you're getting that bass energy that's happening right in your listening position. I mean, think about this. Would you notice 30 decibels in difference?
Oh, yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Unbelievable
like,
amount.
Crap. Yeah. Yeah. So
speaking of which, I sent, sorry to interrupt, but
no, you're good.
Did you guys? Oh, I did. I sent it to you guys. That Dayton Audio DSP LF. It's this little thing I got. I think it's was it $40, $50 or something like that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's $50. This check it out. Go to Parts Express and type in DSP LF, and it's basically a DSP designed for a sub. The only thing I don't like about it is I noticed it's a 3.5 millimeter in instead of RCAs. I'm like, it should be RCA. You know what I mean? Weird. But anyway, they give you the adapters and all that. But the cool thing about it is if you don't have the knowledge to do all this stuff, because like you're saying, Michael, it does take a lot of time to learn it. This thing,
absolutely.
There's an app on your phone that you can use, and if you're using an iPhone, they know what your iPhone's frequency response is. Typically, not perfect, but generally speaking, they know what it can do. And basically, you can do a lot of the calibration with your smartphone. And this little $60 device, right? And you can get 2 of those. Boom. Anyway, I thought that was pretty cool. Did you see that? What Tristan said? Tristan Jones is always messing around. Check it out.
Oh my goodness, Tristan.
Chana had it up there for a second.
That's funny. I just read that. Michael talk about how he broke Gary Jacobian's heart yet. Michael's ride or die JTR now.
Oh wow. Look
I'll
out.
honest. Let me share a couple of thoughts.
You have to know who
I saw
Gary
Gary
Jacobian
crying
is first.
in the grocery store buying ice cream.
You have to know who Gary Jacobian is first.
All right, so he is the president and founder of SBS, and so I've had I bought the PB16s. So anyway, back up a little bit. So I had 4 Klipsch RSW 15s. Rocked those for many years. Loved the sound; they were great. Had 4, and they were 2 of them were stacked, so I was getting quite a bit of extra output by stacking them. I liked the way they sound. Had a lot of output. They just didn't dig very deep. When you hit 20 hertz, the clips literally drop like a rock. I mean, there's no output below 20 hertz for the most part. And so I always longed for that, that lower extension. And so when SVS sent me their SB 3000s, they sent me 2 of them. I liked them. They sounded good. But everybody had just raved over the ported version, PB16s. And man, I was like, all right, I got to get a pair of those. So they sent me the SB pair, and I had the PB pair. So I had those all in the same room, tried them out, same positions. And to me, the PB16 just walked the dog. I mean, they just spanked the
They walked the
SB.
dog and spanked
I
him.
don't know. I don't. It's hard when you don't cuss, man. So you're like, what can I say that's kind of, so I don't even know what walking the dog is. But anyway. Oh gosh. All right. So back on track. So the PB16s, love those. Sean is done for the night, man. He's done for the night.
He's like, they walked the dog. Like they really spanked him. I'm like, what? What happened? What am I hearing?
I don't know, man. All right. So anyway, back on track. So the PB16s were great. They ended up selling my 4 RSW15s, bought the PB16s, absolutely loved them. And everybody was saying, this is like 2 years ago. Well, maybe about a year and a half ago. A lot of guys in my comments were saying, Michael, if you like the PB16s, you got to hear Power Sound Audio. You've got to hear JTR. No comparison. And I went, okay, who's Power Sound Audio? Who's JTR? I'd never heard of them. And reached out to both companies. And Tom was gracious enough to send me the S3611, dual 18s in a single enclosure. Phenomenal sub. He sent me one. Powerful sub. Deep hitting sub. Lots of low extension. Great sub. And so fast forward a long time later, probably maybe a year later, I finally got in touch with Jeff from JTR. And so he had made a comment on his Facebook page about, I think, a setup that he was having at Axpona, maybe from last year. And I said, man, I would love to review those someday. And he said, message me. And so we started a conversation. And for the most part, he doesn't send out speakers for review. And what I'm finding, especially with these smaller companies, they don't have like this massive amount of inventory. They don't have, Jeff makes these speakers for his customers pretty much by hand. He builds the networks. He builds, he doesn't build the cabinets, of course. He orders those, but he designs them. He's the engineer that actually says, I want to build this, and I want to use this kind of components in it, and I want to use this kind of network in it. I want to have these crossover points. And so he does all of that in his brain and in his mind. And so, he's figuring all that out. And so, but he said, let me see if I can send you, a subwoofer or 2 subwoofers or whatever. But even then, it still took many months before that even became a reality. And so he sent me the RS2s, and holy cow, man. I remember going from a 10-inch subwoofer to a 15-inch subwoofer, and my eyes were open like, what just happened? This was many years ago, like 15 years ago. Kind of the same thing, going from 15-inch subwoofer to 8 dual 18s was like, holy crap, what just happened? you know. And so more extension, low, deep, hard-hitting bass, being sealed. There's no port chuffing. You know, with the PB16s, they sound great. They're great, solid speaker. But you play Edge of Tomorrow anywhere close to reference, and that joke will flop around like a dead fish. I mean, literally, it will be like a dead fish flopping around on the ground. It just doesn't sound good. Doesn't sound clean. These sealed JTRs, it'll walk the dog, Chana. They're tight and clean. And so I'm like, man, I would love to hear, you know, if their subwoofers sound this good, I want to hear what their speakers sound like as well. And so again, we were having a conversation, and Jeff was like, I'd be willing to fly you up. If you want to come hear them, come on. I went, done, you know? And so just recently, like a couple weekends ago, had the chance to go up there on a Monday and Tuesday, spent that morning, most of the morning and probably into the afternoon a little bit on Monday at the JTR headquarters. And I did a video on my channel on that, literally just a walkthrough. Here's what his shop's about. Here's what, you know, his design philosophy, you know, selfish plug for me. Go check it out. I think it's pretty insightful, just into what does JTR make. And one thing that really stood out to me was the quality of speakers that he uses, or the quality components. We're talking capacitors that are huge in networks. And so I know on my RF7, my previous RF72s, I took the crossover out, you know, and it was kind of a double stack crossover, but it was about that big around.
Yeah.
But one of Jeff's capacitors on one of the boards is half the size of that crossover. It's massive.
Look ridiculous.
And he uses two networks that are about this big, one for the mid-range, I think one more for the mid-range and highs, and then a separate network about the same size for the lower end in one speaker. Crazy. And then he's got a coaxial on the RT, basically like the monitor series, the reference. So if he's got the reference monitors or the reference towers, they use this coaxial driver. So it's a two-way speaker. It's a tweeter, and it's also the mid-range.
What does that have to do with Gary crying in the grocery store buying ice cream, though?
That's the real question.
You have to get back to the question, which is, you know, he's saying that you're making SVS cry over there. Is what he's saying. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah, but here, but the reality, the reason why it's getting that way is because I'm hearing things in the JTRs that I don't hear with the PBs.
Well, I would say, you know, look at the surface area, right? Before you had are the PB16s are 15s or 16s?
It's marketed as a 16. I know people ask this question all the time. They're like, that's a 16-inch driver. I've taken a tape measure. It's 15 and a half.
Okay.
If you want to round up, that's good.
So you're comparing two 15s, ported 15s to four 18s.
Correct.
You have four 18s.
Sealed enclosure.
So that's kind of not a fair comparison if you're just looking just based on the size of the speakers. Maybe price wise, I don't know, but I don't know.
No,
not so much.
Then I think the RS2s are a little bit more. I don't know, exactly on that.
So I'll answer the question for you here.
Yeah.
And I've actually talked to Nick recently, and he even mentioned like, hey, I saw that Youthman had those JTR speakers. So Nick is a VP over there at SVS, and he's like, I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's the type of guy he is. He's like, yeah, I think that's awesome. You know what I mean? Of course, you know, like somebody who is not confident in their products would be like, oh yeah, forget this guy. But I think he understands. Yeah. I told him, you know, why don't you do some dual something? Maybe that's what people want.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
I don't want that and I got to take it up the stairs.
Yeah.
And then back down the stairs through that.
Yeah. Man.
Cool.
Yeah, man. Well, I think we're getting to the end of our podcast here. we're getting kicked off here.
Uh-oh.
You guys have any more last minute questions? Ron, you look like you need to go. I know. You good?
I'm good. I was actually really engaged with Michael's story about JTR speakers because I've been curious about him myself, and it's assuring to know that he's doing some serious crossover work. That's encouraging.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'd like to meet the guy. I really would. It'd be cool.
Super down to earth guy.
Well, if you don't need to go, I just saw you quiet over there. Usually that means Ron's got to go.
No, man, I was just in speaker dreamland. I was like,
Speaker dreamland, yeah. I mean, when you're talking about the difference between sealed and ported, and you bump up to like dual 18s and a sealed, like I don't like that's just going to give you like the best quality of bass, and at the same time, it'll hit super low, super low,
and plenty of output.
Yeah,
and that's why I've never liked sealed subs for home theater because they don't have as much output. And it wasn't until I got those RS2s that have dual 18s. There's, like Joe said, there's so much surface area. You ain't got to worry about output. There's plenty of output. And it's just clean, man. Super clean. One of those woofers, man, I was curling it in my video. 65 pounds each.
Oh yeah. I dropped the video in the chat box. It says Youthman's JTR video. If you guys scroll up, it's there. Yeah.
Michael, let me ask you, when you got back home, did you sit down to listen to your rig and you were like, oh crap, or was it like
No, okay, so I ended up visiting 2 JTR home theaters. I'm actually working on one of those videos. That's why I'm wearing the AirPods now. And in the theater room is because I'm actually exporting a 35-minute video of a home theater. Literally the most incredible sounding home theater I've ever heard.
Dang.
I haven't. I can't say that. Okay, I haven't heard hundreds of home theaters. I'm sure there's other ones out there.
But so far, it's the best. It's the new.
It literally made me question my home theater, and I love my home theater. This, I'm telling you guys, on a totally different level. You got to check it out. This dude has D-box seats in his front 3 theater seats.
What is that?
Phenomenal.
Oh, look at his watch the intro of his video. It's hilarious. They're like moving around.
Yeah.
It's the car race scene.
Man.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, man.
Yeah. The seats move?
The seats move.
Dude. Like I'm talking big time move.
Yeah. It looked pretty crazy.
Yeah. Like
how much of those things
insane.
How much do those things run, Mike, for like
they're
too much?
A lot.
Too much,
yeah,
right?
They're a lot. Yeah. And he bought them used, and he still spent quite a bit on them.
So let me ask you,
but buy them brand new would be a lot.
Did that honestly add to the experience, or was it kind of distracting to me?
Okay. You'll have to watch my video. I do address that, but
I will.
I don't mind saying it. I've always looked at D-Box as being hokey.
Yeah. What the
heck?
And
really, I've never given it a try
over here. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, right.
It's like $22 at the theater. And I'm like, I'm not spending $22 to hop in a roller coaster while I'm watching a movie.
Yeah, is it like some Disney style stuff?
But here's the cool thing. Number one, you have the ability to change the I guess the output on the attenuators, and you also have the ability to change the output on the transducers, which is kind of like a bass shaker. And here's what I found with his setup. For lack of better words, it was dialed in. In other words, we were watching Fury. Have y'all seen that one? Big tank, several tank scenes, and there's kind of a war movie. And Fury, they're sitting there in the tank, and the tank's just rumbling. It's not moving; it's just idle. And so you feel the bass shaker just kind of barely rumbling on your body, just a little bit. And the I don't even know what you call those, the hydraulics, basically, it's moving just a little bit. And then when they shoot that freaking,
he almost cussed right there.
I almost did. No, I didn't. I'd never. When he shot that cannon, dude, holy crap. I mean, it was like, you're like, whoa. It was the raddest thing, man. It took that experience to a whole new level.
That's awesome.
And the thing is that and we were watching there was an airplane movie called Broken. I don't know if it's an airplane movie, but I haven't seen it. But we were watching that demo, and the plane was the first time that
Oh,
he didn't even have it on the whole time.
I know
And I'll
what you're
share in
talking
the
about.
video. Yeah, so the plane starts to dip. I was like, "Mm." And right then I started leaning forward. I'm like, what the heck? You know? And he was able to turn it on and off from his phone. It was just coolest setup, man. But even beyond that, the sound, especially the Dolby Atmos demos that he did at the beginning. Oh my goodness, man.
Same.
Clean, detailed, what we were talking about earlier. What do my ears like? JTR represented every bit of that clarity, detail, dynamics, that liveliness.
And
We were
bass.
listening to, oh my gosh, and bass galore. It was, I'm telling you, man, it was, I want to like get on a flight and go back and hear their setups again. Like it was
Awesome.
that good, literally.
Awesome.
I mean,
Awesome.
so if you get a chance to check them out, definitely check them out. So yeah, it's a, you know, I don't know, just
Hey,
I was just extremely impressed.
why don't we mention
What's
to
that?
our fans what we got up, what we got on deck? You know, what videos are we
Cool.
working on? What's coming out here pretty soon?
Go ahead.
Oh,
What you got?
yeah.
I've got the NADM10 will be out for sure this week. Tomorrow I'm dropping.
Stop being a wuss and release that already, Ron.
It's been like a year.
Yeah, right.
He's
I'm just
scared.
kidding. Just
He's
kidding. It's not a
scared.
year. Not a year.
Let me clarify. Part 1 of NADM10 will be out tomorrow. It's going to be a saga.
Chapter 1.
Chapter 1. And then I do the JBL 530s. I love those speakers. I've already reviewed them. Everybody has been asking me, how do you take these things apart? We want to mod them, things like that. And I did my very first top-down video.
I saw that. That looked great.
Taking them apart. So that'll be out tomorrow. So that'll be kind of fun. Yeah.
Nice.
Excited, man. You're doing a lot of things on the new NRD channel.
Ooh,
I mean, just seriously, like you just changed that whole thing up. There's a whole different feel when I go there. Your energy's different.
Thank you,
Seriously.
man.
So I think it has a lot to do with, you know, this is your gig now, right?
Yeah.
There's a big difference when it's number 2 versus when it's number 1.
That's right.
Huge difference.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yep.
True.
So make sure to check them out.
Thank you, Joe. I appreciate that.
Yeah. What else do I have? I have, like I'm saying, finally the RP600Ms that everybody's been bugging me to do. So that's coming out. I'm gonna edit that right now, and then I have some follow-up ones. I kind of took a play from your book, Ron. I did the sound demo separate.
Yeah.
And I did the speaker leaderboard separate just because the video is starting to get too long.
Too long.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So chapter 2, there's 2 chapters to it. And then I think I want to do one where it's a comparison UB5 versus the RP600M. It's just too. You have to compare them.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Head to head. So that, and then I got, oh man, just too much stuff. I got that monitor that you already reviewed, Michael, and then this mic I have to do. I got mics, all kinds of mics. So gonna change it up.
Speaking of monitor, I got this monitor stand that I'm doing a video of. Let me, no, wait, here it is. Here's the monitor stand.
That looks great, man.
It's a Parasound monitor stand.
Wow.
This picture's actually going to be going up on the old Instagram channel.
Awesome.
I'm sure it'll get a lot of laughs. But yeah, that's the Parasound A51 monster of an amplifier.
It's a beast, man.
5-channel,
awesome gear.
250 watts per channel into 8 ohms, all 5 channels driven. If you're running 4 ohm speakers, 400 watts.
What?
All 5 channels driven. Ridiculous.
It's a beast, man. It's a beast.
But you know, also makes a good monitor stand.
Very cool, man.
So I got that coming out Wednesday. I'm hoping to get that out Wednesday. And I spent actually like 6 hours shooting that thing on Friday. So
yeah,
it's gonna be one of my better. I brought out all the robots, all of them.
There you
go. One of the better ones. Are you saying that the other ones are not as good?
I mean,
what are you saying about your other videos?
I mean, I
hope to say
took
we're
my
all getting better.
time. I took my
I think we're
time
all
with this
getting
one.
better.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Man,
Awesome.
Tristan is just he keeps going off on you, Michael. He's
What'd he
going
say?
off on you. He's just not
Oh, it's not you,
nonstop.
it's me. Oh my gosh,
Nonstop.
dude,
Michael broke up with SBS via text.
that's funny, man.
Plays with
That's
with
too funny.
JTR. They agreed to be friends.
That's
It's not
hilarious,
you.
man.
It's look at him. Look at the last one. It's not you. It's me.
I know it. That's funny.
That's hilarious.
That's it.
So
hilarious.
that's what I've got. That's what I've got going on. I've got 4 videos kind of in the queue. I have 2 JTR home theaters that I had a chance to visit. One of them, we hit, I think it was 146 decibels. I had earplugs in. The most insane amount of bass I've ever experienced in my life. That was crazy. Crazy, dude.
You see? Oh
Crazy.
yeah, Chana, you got
He
it.
has,
Yeah.
Boo.
he has,
Does
he
his
has
wife know?
9, yeah, he has 9 18s in his room. 9
918s.
9 18s. Power Sound Audio and JTR. That was insane. So I've got this other one that literally is exporting now. It should be done by the time we get done with the podcast. I'm going to get it uploaded tonight. I may be able to go live with it tonight. If not, it'll be on my channel tomorrow. So that'll be the first home theater. And then I've got, a load
So,
of small things I've got to review. So
Chana, didn't you get a rel? I don't
Oh,
know if
yeah,
that was
that's right.
something. I
Oh,
don't
yeah,
know
you
if it
got-
was like in
Oh,
my
yeah.
dream or
Yeah.
something like that.
I
Yeah.
got some subwoofers because I
Which
don't
one?
Yeah, you got
actually
2
I don't
of 'em.
actually own a subwoofer.
By Rel?
so-
Boo. No, just kidding.
Rel
No, no.
subwoofers. Rel
Ron-
15.
Ron likes those. He looks
No,
like he wants to hear those.
I do. Those are beautiful sounding subs, man.
Oh, you've heard them?
I have heard REL.
I've heard one set. The
Rel.
212 SE. Have you heard
Yeah.
this, Ron?
No, older the Stratas are an older one that I've heard. I haven't heard anything new.
Gotcha.
This is the one. Oh, they sent 2 of these over for me to check out.
I'm
Yeah.
still curious about the rhythmic subs. I want to.
Rhythmic, direct servo,
A
man.
lot of
Yeah,
people,
direct
a lot of people
servo.
say that they're fantastic. Yeah,
Can I get a boo?
a lot of great.
The heck?
Boo.
I think a lot of guys, a lot of guys will
There
tell
it
you
is.
that Rhythmic produces
There it
really
is.
great subs. A lot
Those
more.
are-
I
bang
know.
for your
I know
buck.
your deal. I know your channel.
Pretty.
But
I see
yeah,
what you're installing.
I'm pretty excited to do dual
Did they send you
sub.
6 of them? They
They
should have
send
sent
me-
you 6, man.
Oh man, that would be too
They're
much.
all about
They-
height. No, they're all
yeah,
about
yeah, I
height
can
now.
stack them. That's the cool part. I
Yeah.
don't have
Yeah.
you only have one footprint because you can go
Yeah.
up. So that's kind of
Yep.
cool. So I got 2 of them. I will be stacking them.
Cool.
But yeah, that's
You know how
happening.
much? You know how much more output you'll get from that?
I don't know. I mean, right now I don't have a subwoofer hooked up, so
You'll get
it's
12
gonna be
dB,
it's gonna be
roughly.
100% more output, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
When you stack them, you end up getting. I think
Oh,
if
6
my
dB.
understanding is correct,
Yeah.
12, because you're doubling not only the woofer, but now you're doubling the amplifier too. So you
Yeah.
get 6 dB by doubling the woofer,
Mhm.
and another 6 dB because you double the amplification. So you're getting 12 dB
I
extra.
thought it was 3. I don't know.
I
Yeah,
could be
3
wrong.
plus
Let me know.
so
Yeah.
double.
Let us know. Let us know. in
Double the
chat.
drivers.
Oh no! You're right.
Yeah.
I was getting 12 dB extra because I had 2 clips RSW15 stacked.
Yeah,
So
there you
there's
go.
2 stacked
Yeah,
on one
there's
side.
2.
2. That's what I'm thinking of. Yes, that's correct. So
it
it's
should be
3
a 6
dB.
dB. Yeah.
Yes, that is correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was wrong on that.
So
Cool stuff, man.
yeah, subwoofer
That's
coupling
exciting.
is a real thing.
Awesome.
Now check this out. On those, I don't know if they're the same as some of their other REL subwoofers, but they connect way different. Instead of just connecting, is he still busting my chops?
No, I'm waiting for Chana's reaction right about
Okay.
now.
So
No.
they're getting the RCA cable, but you're also doing like a high level input. It's totally different.
Oh, really?
Check out their channel. Yeah.
Well, I
and
know.
like said,
I
don't
mean,
know-
I was just planning on using RCA to connect this. They said that I could.
Right.
So I guess on their
Yeah.
higher end lines. I mean,
Yes.
it also has a
it's
what
like
do you
a
call
high
it?
level input too.
Yeah,
It's
I think-
weird because they give you like a red, a yellow, and a black or
Oh
something
yeah,
like
this
that.
this
The yellow-
one this one is the
It's
HT
different.
1508, and it doesn't have
Okay.
that stuff on the back.
Oh,
It's
okay,
just
gotcha.
it's just pretty standard. So I figured they wanted to send me something that's more my speed. Now
What
he
is-
did say you know, he did say that
Let's dumb it down for Chana.
Yeah, exactly.
That hand movement was kind of weird.
That's awesome.
But
that
that we're talking about walking
chilling in
and
the seats like
tanking
that?
and 4 inches deep. I don't know what's happening. Like,
But,
crazy.
what's the
Oh,
one
Chana,
right
you're
above
a mess,
the
dude.
one that you have highlighted right there? What does that say? Can you read that real quick? Maybe
Rhythmic.
Michael should read it.
Where we at?
Read that.
Right on the screen there, buddy.
No,
Oh, I'm
thanks.
looking over in the chat.
Oh,
Rhythmic's a bunch of jerks. You don't like them? I've never actually had any interaction with them. I asked them
Man.
3 times to review their subs and radio silence. Texas-based company acting all bougie.
boo.
Boo. You know what? I had a similar experience, to be honest. I was curious. I wanted to
I
hit. I
haven't.
hit him up. I figured,
I
you know what?
haven't,
This sounds
yeah.
like a good company, and I think more people should know about their subs. I'm interested in the servo tech. I think that's real cool. You know, tech. Ron would agree. I know.
Oh
Yeah, Velodyne
Yeah.
used to do that with all theirs.
So I was just like, I wanted to review them, but they're just like they weren't having it. So
Yeah.
I don't know if I would
Yeah,
call them
I didn't hear
jerks.
anything.
no.
They just
I
didn't
would
respond. I reached out to
uh,
them a long time ago, but I didn't
I
hear
got-
back from them either.
I got no love. That's all. So
Yeah.
I've actually spoken to the owner on the phone a couple of times many years ago, and they're a very, very small company. They're not.
Yeah.
They're very,
Yeah.
very, very tight knit, very small. It's nothing
Sure.
crazy.
And I mentioned
Yeah.
that earlier. I think that's harder for these companies like JTR, like Power Sound Audio,
Yeah.
because you talk to Tom. Tom's focus is he's like, I'm sending and I'm fulfilling orders first, and then if I've got extra, then I can send something out to review, and I respect that, absolutely, because he's taking care of you guys, before even sending out to us, and totally cool. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, cool guys. I think. Yeah, we're
good.
We're good. We're
It's
getting.
past
Hey,
Ron's bedtime, man.
no, it's believe me, it's not. Yeah. Hey, everybody, stay safe out there. Be kind. Be humble. Show some
Absolutely,
compassion.
man.
Reach out to
Enjoy
your
your
family.
setups.
Love them. Do that. Yeah.
All right.
Enjoy
Well,
your setups
thank you
while you
for
get the
everybody who
opportunity.
joined.
Yes.
Thanks
thank-
everyone for showing up. Again,
that
we do this every Monday. What's up?
Sorry, man. I didn't mean
Yeah,
to.
okay.
I didn't mention, we need to set up a Patreon channel for this.
Thank you.
I'm sure that these guys would want to support us in one way or another. Throw a couple bucks our way to help
Right.
us out.
Definitely.
Well, you set up the tiers, Ron.
I'll set up tiers. Lots of tiers.
There you go. Now we had talked about previously possibly posting these on the Daily Hi-Fi YouTube channel, correct?
Yeah,
Okay.
we are
So
in the
we just wanna-
process of doing so.
So we want to throw that out to you because I know it gets a little confusing when we bounce around from one channel to the other. So I think it'd be easier to streamline that and put it on just the Daily Hi-Fi channel. So check us out. Chana, if you'll put that in the chat over there.
Boom, I just dropped it in.
And all of
yeah,
it
there
will
you
be
go.
in the description. So if you're watching this later,
Cool.
Yeah, it's in the description there, the YouTube channel for Daily Hi-Fi, where we chop up the videos and put them up in like nice little content package
Segments. There you go.
There it is. There it
well,
is.
very good, guys. Very.
Hey man,
very
be good.
All right,
You guys
take
have a
care,
good one.
everybody.
Thank you
Always
guys
enjoy
for
it,
showing
fellas.
up. And yeah, be safe out there.
Thank you.